Welcome to another thrilling edition of Monday Madness. Um, we're starting a little bit later than usual because I had to take care of some business with a client. I was here yesterday and I was just kind of on the phone with someone, and all of a sudden I was hearing this noise. I was like, "What is that noise?" And I found that it was my desk breaking. The one that used to be featured in some of my streams a couple years ago. So that was really irritating. It's where the metal parts come out of the wood, like, just crack out of it. Man, it's always some bad news every time. Um, I'm gonna see about finishing this video on the hookers this week. I'm not gonna make any promises because I've barely even started writing the script for it. So I hope it can be done by Friday or sooner, but again, I'm not going to make any commitments. There's a lot of stuff I have to say, and I don't know if I can, jot it all down in 2 or 3 days. I'd like to, but I don't know if it'll be a sure thing. But after that video, as far as edited stuff goes for a while, I'm gonna see if I can try to make another documentary because I haven't done one of those in a long time. Um, and I was trying to talk to my friend this weekend, but he didn't pick up on me because he was too busy sitting at the theater watching that stupid vampire for the must be 40th time, and he's talking about counting down the days until May 19th when the digital release comes out so we can keep watching it at home. I'm just so tired of that vampire. Like, for a whole month now, every time you call somebody, or at least when you call him, he's watching Morbius. When you try to do a stream and people don't show up, you know where they are because they admit that they're over there watching that vampire. They're so mesmerized by this being. It's like, and what gets me is that it's not even a big superhero movie. Like, if it was No Way Home, I would completely understand. If it was Endgame, I'd completely get it. Hell, if it was Snyder's Justice League, I would get that too. But uh, I'm getting upstaged by a vampire who usually doesn't even have his own comic. I just think that's crazy. So I'm really disappointed, people. And I hope that if this ever happens again, you at least get a better character to sell me out for. If it is my fate to be upstaged by movie characters and films that aren't even that big, at least have it be one that's good, or on some on some massive scale. Because I don't know if I can take this anymore. I just feel so betrayed. And it gets me because it's like every time we do a stream now and people don't show up, they're watching the vampire. They watch the same movie over and over before they'll watch you do one stream this week. They're watching him do this and show his fangs. They're all on the part of the Jared Leto crew. Again, if they were watching anything else, I'd be a lot more sympathetic. But like I said, some of them have seen the movie multiple times. They're still going to see it. It's like, you guys are making Sony so wealthy. This movie's made $300 trillion. I never thought I'd see the day where a film could make that much. So because people keep having all these repeat viewings, the movie's made more money than any movie ever made before, and they've already confirmed Morbius 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're almost at 2 trilogies now from this one film's massive breakaway success. That was funny when they announced El Muerto. They were like, "Where's Morbius 2?" It's like I don't even know where they would even be able to take that. Like I read the plot summary. I didn't watch the actual movie. I'm probably gonna wait to for a digital release, if not even further than that. Um, but I don't even know where they could take the story for a sequel. You killed off the villain of this movie like you did with all the other villains of your goofy little 3 movie universe. Um, and I guess the girlfriend, the like whatever the lady's name is, she's got the powers now. So I guess maybe they could have a sequel where it's the two. I don't know. I don't know where this could even go. Again, the movie's not even that big of a deal to me. It's just all the lies that took place before it came out. Oh, here's Spider-Man in the picture of like he's walking behind a picture of Raimi. Is this movie set in the Raimi verse? Oh, they have the Oscorp building from the TASM films. Is this movie set in the TASM verse? Oh, they have Vulture in the trailers from Homecoming. Is this movie set in the MCU? And then you watch the movie and almost everything that was featured there was cut, removed, gotten rid of. It was just so deceitful, you know? Like you guys told all these lies for what? Just to get a few more butts in the seats. Anybody else thinks that's sad that to make a movie that people are like slightly excited for, you have to trick them into thinking it's part of some. I'm just gonna put out and say it better universe, some more consistent series than the one you've made. Nobody thinks that's crazy. Like of all the stuff you could have, this is what you choose as your selling point. Oh, this might be set in one of those other universes that has films you actually care about or some character you actually 'cause I already said before that the problem with shared universes is that if well there's two of them. One is whenever you do a big massive scale story, you always have to try to explain, why isn't this person helping? Where is that person? And then if you're doing these separate stories, you have people who are wondering when are they going to team up, when are they going to meet? Because if it's like if they said, "Oh, Morbius is set in the Raimi verse," like, well, if he never crosses over with anyone from that original trilogy of Spider-Man films, then like there's what is the purpose of even being excited for that? Like, oh, there's this separate stuff happening somewhere else, but at least we know it takes place in the same dimension. Like, really? Seriously, that's the best you've got? I'm still laughing at the one guy that did the video where he was talking about how Sony could fix their universe, and he said just leave Morbius behind. Don't even. And I'm just laughing like at the idea that Sony would actually do that, and you just never see him again. Like he just dies off screen. All right, they send him to Hawaii or something. It's like what happened to Morbius? I don't know. Where's Morbius? Good, yeah, couldn't tell me. Who knows? That'd be funny if we did the what if videos for like different chicks. Like, oh, what if this chick had said yes? And then it always ends the same way where it's like one date and they never do it again. By the way, before we start our stream today, I should mention there was a person I was talking to who was basically pooping on the idea of traveling to another country to meet someone that agrees to go on a date with you. And I was saying that and it's like people don't listen, that if a man is very desperate and if he, because she's like, oh, um, you have plenty of women you could talk to in the U.S., but you don't like them back. You don't like, it's like, no, if they don't like you back, you went and approached them and asked them out, and they said no over and over again. So, you are inclined to be more open to speaking to ones outside of your borders, if it means just getting a date. Um, but yeah, if you like when you reach the point of total desperation, as I know the feeling of, you're open to do a lot of stuff. So that was just a disconnect between the two of us when we spoke. Said, if you keep getting the same result and you have this person who seemingly is going to do something different, because none of them that say no ever say, I will at least go on a date with you. So if one of them says that, you're going to pay more attention and be more open to doing stuff with that one, on the premise that it might go somewhere further than it usually does. So that's that. But yeah, that woman stuff is just a sad, pitiful saga. She's like, why do you keep trying? I said, I don't. I said before, I'm open to you know, to being in a relationship with someone, right? If they reciprocate. But as far as like actively going online and trying to see if, they're on some website and initiate, because like I said, a lot of the ones that piss me off now, I don't even attempt anything romantic with. I wouldn't dare, because what's the point? They always say no. So it was just really funny. Like, why even bother? It's like, yeah, I don't. I accepted a long time ago that there's something wrong with most chicks as far as dating is concerned. That you might as well just be talking to a brick wall instead of even bothering with them. You have a really obnoxious group of people. I think somebody sent me oh, that was a text message from that old generic stuff. Okay, that's what that really was. I thought I was getting some new message, but no. That's probably all these form letter emails and text messages. They make you think somebody's trying to talk to you, and then it's just generic crap they send everybody. It's like, yeah, this person's trying to speak to me. Oh no, it's just a senator telling me that I need to donate to them for their reelection campaign this year. It's like, all right, whatever. But yeah, it's been a really frustrating period as far as just from a technical standpoint, because before it's like it zigzag. First it was the writer's block, then you had the technical difficulties with the computer, then you still have like what do you call it, more writer's block. So I'm just gonna go outside later on today and like record myself talking about what I want to say in the video, and then I can write that down, and that should help. Akatsuki Merchant says, "Hey man, how's it going?" Well, I'm glad I caught you early after your last viewing of Morbius. I know you were seeing it this morning. So other than that, it's okay, I guess. But you guys really need to get over this vampire. He's not that special. That's kind of funny too if you think about like Jared Leto played Joker, so like a comic book character, right? Then he played Morbius, who's a comic book character and a vampire. And then Robert Pattinson played Edward Cullen, who's a vampire, and then he played Batman, who's a comic book character. Like they did a reverse of each other. This running joke is getting out of control. Well, listen, you can laugh and you can giggle and grin, but I know that on iTunes you've already pre-ordered your digital copy of Morbius when it comes out this May 19th. So I hope you enjoy it and you find it to be a more fun adventure. I'm not planning on catching it on there though. Yeah, I remember. It's the funniest thing. It's like No Way Home was so financially successful for Sony and Marvel Studios that they tried as long as they could to delay when we would get the what's it, the digital copy, right? They were like pushing it as far back as possible. But then with more BS, this movie's not even been out for 2 full months, and we're already going to get it on digital because they know that they're barely making anything off of it. I find that like no one really is mentioning that, but I find that contrast very interesting that we had No Way Home come out in December and we didn't get it until March on digital, which is like that's like 3 months, almost 3 full months of just you can only see this in theaters. But with Morbius, it's not even 2 full months, and they already are trying to get it out of there. That movie was garbage, not just regular garbage from food waste, a hot steaming pile of garbage and disgusting bile. And at the end of it, you're gonna say, but Matt Smith was pretty good. Because he's the only person that is actually getting praise, like not as a joke, like actually people are saying he did a good job as the villain. Think about it. I don't like. I thought the villain for Venom was kind of lame, Riot, and then the like fake Jeff, Mark Zuckerberg guy, whatever. I didn't remember the Carlton Drake or whatever. Um, and then with Carnage, it's like I like Woody Harrelson, but why did you get rid of him after one movie? These villains have been kind of frustrating because it's like they give you a boring one and they get rid of that one after one movie, so you can't develop them to being interesting. And then they give you a slightly more interesting one with Carnage, and they get rid of them after one movie. Like it's only just they are so like early superhero movies where they feel like they always have to kill the villain off after one movie. Like that's in the formula for them. The villain was stupider than the protagonist. Well, look, I'm just saying that I've seen reviews where they're specifically saying that Smith was the highlight of the movie. So I'm not saying he was better. I'm just telling you that I've seen reviews where people are saying that. So don't shoot the messenger. You can put away your crossbow and your arrow and your daggers and your spears. I'm simply saying that I saw reviews that said he was the best part, which isn't even that hard of a thing to do in a film like this, but I digress. All right, Akatsuki Merchant, write down all your thoughts and theories and what you want from Morbius 2 and how it's going to continue this epic saga. That's what I'm saying. It's a low ball. But again, it's like I take it a little bit more seriously because, for example, Jared Harris plays like I guess the mentor guy or whatever. Nobody's saying he did some amazing job. Um, some people are saying Leto was all right. Nobody's saying that the chick that was playing the what's her? I don't remember her act. I don't remember the character, the actress name, the love interest. Nobody's saying that she was great. I mean, it's really just the only person they're choosing. The only two people that are getting singled out for praise are either Leto or Matt Smith as the villain. So, I'm just saying that it's it's something to note when everyone that does review this movie is saying the same two people were actually good and everybody else was bad or was like subpar or average or whatever. It's like just a repeated pattern I've picked up on. Oh man, Black Pill is here. Now I can curse him out. Oh, let me get my close my windows so I can start screaming and hollering at him. So I hope you feel proud of yourself because when I went online yesterday, I found a new channel and it was called Pink Pill Tubestein. I was like, what the hell? So I click on it and it's some woman speaking, right? Some woman, she's talking about, relationships and, men suck, blah, 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 blah. But then I go in the comment section and guess who I find? That old familiar Black Pill that comes to that channel of mine. So we now know that you have a sister who has a channel that has at least 100,000 subscribers. And you go over and you promote her and you're sharing her all over Twitter and on YouTube and you're putting up ads and billboards in real life. And you don't even agree with her. But then someone you do agree with, you don't promote at all. So I see how it is. You and Pink Pill deserve each other. Gangster Joker was the worst iteration of the Joker. Not to mention he was just stupid. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was wrong with the DC. Like, what gets me right is that I look at the DCU. I like the casting and the mainly the characterization for Superman, all of his supporting characters, Zod, etc. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Um, I thought Affleck as Batman is good, but like the characterization of like killing people, whatever, I don't like that much. But the only person who I was like, why the hell? What is this? Was Joker out of that whole universe? Who didn't look like the character? Who when I saw I laughed at because I thought that was a joke. I thought that was from a fan film. I was like, you actually took Joker and gave him gold teeth and tried to make him a ugh. So that one was awful. And honestly, if because the DCU is going right, I really hope, and I'm not even saying this to be funny. I'm fine with them bringing Affleck back. That's cool if they want to. If he doesn't want to come back, whatever. I honestly hope that if they have him back, they either recast Joker or if they bring Leto back, have him be something else like they did in the Snyder cut, or just never use the Joker again in this universe. I don't like that version of Joker. It's my most hated version of that character. Instead of just shooting and killing Harley Quinn, he drives her through the Batman surveillance city and tries to drown her as if Batman wouldn't notice something like that. Yeah, it was. I mean, why do you think Suicide Squad got so many negative reviews? Like stuff like that doesn't make any sense. Even if you're a crazy villain, like what would I want to kill you? That's why I'm going to drive you in front of this city where a superhero knows everything that's going on and can possibly save you. My favorite new channel. That's not what you were saying when you were talking to Pink Pill. And look, I don't know if she's your sister or what your relation is with her, but I have to say I was very disappointed to see you over there pounded up with her. And you've been promoting her like crazy. You run ads on TV. Go subscribe to Pink Pill Tubes Tide. No, I clicked it. The account was Black Pill, and then that evil V word, and I click it, and it was the same thing. It had the same pair of scissors. So it was you. You've been exposed. You've been revealed as a double agent. You're like part of the internet hydra. Where is it? Okay, Akatsuki Merchant didn't write anything else. But yeah, you've been outed today. No, Pink Pill is your sister, your older sister that has an account on here, and you go over there and promote her and support her. Akatsuki said his idea of high crime is shooting up a bank, causing a massive scene. Like you figured the Joker being a crime boss would be a lot more discreet as Batman doesn't come after him. So you don't have a sister? We're supposed to believe you're an only child? I'm telling you, you've been exposed. Your pill's been popped. That'd be the funniest if I actually had like a little actual pill. I just like pop it, like just crush it. Like that's you. He's been outed. No, the DCU had the worst Joker I've ever seen. And again, the worst part of it is that they wanted to keep him going. Like the first version of the Joker to show up in more than one movie, and it's that piece of garbage. That horrible character. That's why they made him look so different when they did the Snyder cut, because they knew that nobody liked that version of him. Oh my God, it's gangster. It's like, how do you mess up Joker? All it is a guy wearing a purple suit with white face, red lips, like, and torturous, murderous, whatever. Like I don't get, like, Joker just seems to be such, like, even people who don't read comics understand what that character is. God, dude, sometimes reinventions go way too far. Like, just I just get tired of stuff like that. It goes way too far. It gets weird. It's just crazy. Instead of having a regular Joker that wears a suit like all the other ones, let's have him showing off his chest with gold teeth. Yeah. You know, it's, I don't get stuff like that. That'd be funny if the Flash movie, or like the only thing of the racist is Joker. Like out of all the movies, the only one that's events get scrubbed or Suicide, the first Suicide Squad. It's like goodbye. Joker is supposed to be a highly intelligent crime boss with psychotic, violent tendencies and a mental condition that gives him uncontrollable laughter. Right, but go back to the crime boss part. What do bosses of any variety wear? Suits. So if in every version of Joker you've seen in these different movies wears a purple suit. Sometimes it's a green, whatever, like a suit, something of a high caliber type of clothing. So why the hell would you have Joker running around showing off his chest with gold teeth? I think out of all the live action versions, that's the only one we saw like partially undressed. Like I don't think any of the other ones just took their shirts off. You know what I mean? Like what? Why? Why? He's like, I'm gonna disrobe. It's like, no, thank you. Please, no. Yeah, the purple suit is supposed to be the most defining thing about him because it makes him stand out from other crime bosses. Yeah. I mean, hell, even in just the Batman Rogues gallery, it's like him and Penguin and Two Face as well, who are the only ones that wear suits, like business attire. But the other part of it is that his suit still stands out the most because it's purple. That's kind of funny. I just noticed how many of them just like walk around all day wearing suits. I think they've done Riddler in suits before too. I have to go look it up though. Now I'm telling you, some of these designs, I'm just like, who approved this? Who was like, yeah, let's do that? Hey, I'm still laughing at the guy that was saying, no, I'm not going to bring him up. He's dumb. I was going to mention somebody, but I decided not to because he doesn't need to be referenced. He's not one of those turncoats. Yeah, in some comics, Riddler wears a green suit with question marks all over it, which I think is no. Your favorite Riddler design was the one from Matt Reeves' film. You like the parka and the big mask with the glasses on top of it. That's your favorite one. I remember when I first saw that design, I was like, "What the hell?" Like, really? And you even had people on Twitter like, "This is the best Batman movie villain ever. He's even better than Joker from." I was like, "No, hell no." Man, Joker from Dark Knight is going to be the best, probably forever. Um, see when people start saying stuff like that, I start tuning them out because just as people like to say nostalgia is like a reason people like things, recency bias is a reason people like things as well. Every time something new comes out and you like it, you say it's the best, whatever. A green suit. Like, I remember they were like, the Batman has the best Catwoman. I'm like, what the hell? I guess Batman Returns doesn't exist anymore. No, it's just really funny that they act like every new movie that is okay or good is just the greatest thing ever made. Like I remember when The Dark Knight Rises came out, this is the best film ever. One of my classmates actually said this. I was like, there's no way in hell this is better than Dark Knight. It's not even no, not even close. You guys must have really lost your mind. No, I have no regrets about not seeing that in theaters. I was just because, like I said, man, when they just keep rebooting and starting over again and again, I don't get too see if they do a Green Lantern reboot, for example. I'd actually be kind of excited to see that because we haven't had a Green Lantern movie in over 10 years. Um, and they might do something significantly better than the last effort that they had, in 2011. But with Batman, it's like you've had all these different versions of the character, including a version to even get his own movie with Affleck's version. So it's like I can't. My excitement is always going to be on a bell curve. It's like, okay, you guys have this person playing this person, that person there, yeah, blah 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 blah, whatever. Hell, if they did a new what's another example of somebody? Who's someone else that hasn't? If they did a new Supergirl movie, I would say okay, cool, because the one in '84 sucked, and we haven't had a theatrical release with that character in what is it, like 30 something years? You know what I mean? Like so much time has passed since like there's some stuff where it's like you want to do a reboot. I'm all up for it because we've barely seen it in recent years, but Batman is not one of them. That's something that we've seen over and over again, where just like even attempting to say this is a fresh new take. It's like, guys, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, Kotsky Merchant, right? Like where you just kind of get burnt out of starting over again and again. Because I remember when Tasm first came out, I was like, okay, well, I didn't really want them to reboot, but I guess I'll see this. That was all right. Then they did a second one I thought was horrible. So I didn't even bother going to see it in theaters. And then you had what was it Homecoming? And I was like, oh, another reboot. And I didn't see that one in theaters. I just read the plot summary. And then Far From Home, I was like, oh, okay, Mysterio, yeah. And then that I was like, okay, whatever. And then I think it's funny. Like every just get sick of the reboot. Like just starting over is just I'm tired of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm on an island, but I really am serious when I say I'm getting sick of reboots because they're not even rebooting like new things. They're making the same stuff over and over again. Look at this new version of Batman that doesn't kill people. Oh, you mean like the Nolan trilogy? No, this is a new version. All right, okay, okay. Whatever you say. Whatever. Not even gonna argue with you on that one. You can call it whatever you like. I'm just I think the only reboot I really want to see, like out of anything, isn't even related to superheroes. Like we've had different versions of Dracula. I think we've had different versions of Frankenstein too. We've never had a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake. a reboot, I should say, where it's like a new version of that character from the 50s, that monster. I would really be up for seeing the new version because that movie came out, was that like 60 years ago, and they've been trying to remake it for the last 40 years. And every time it looks like they're coming close to doing it, it always slips through the cracks. I'd really like to see that one. Like with modern technology, and you want to tell like this story about this underwater being that just haunts those around. That would be really cool. That's one of the few times I'm like, yeah, make another one. Just because how long it's been and like all the decades that have passed. So that's one of the few properties where if they were like, hey, we're doing a new one, we're rebooting, I'd be like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm still waiting for my Green Lantern reboot. It's just so sad because Green Lantern is one of the few DC characters that probably could have its own mythos, like just a Green Lantern film series where it's like a trilogy, and then over the course of it, Hal Jordan, like I guess becomes a better Lantern, and you see Sinestro fall into creating his own corps, the Yellow Lanterns, or the Sinestro Corps, I should say. And then you have the Red Lanterns, the Blue Lanterns, the Orange Lantern. There's Star Sapphires. Like that's easily 6 or 9 or 12 movies worth of material if we're being honest about it. Like you could do a whole movie where it's just two Lantern Corps, the Green Lanterns and the Red Lanterns, and you'd still have enough material for one movie because there's so many members. That's why I said he's of any DC character in the film department. I've always felt Green Lantern was the most tragic because there's so much mythos about that character, especially in like the last 20 years where they've introduced more cores and like different ideas. And it just sucks that he gets shafted so we can keep getting different versions of the same couple of characters. You know. Maybe after Matt Reeves finishes his Batman trilogy, he'll do some Green Lantern. It's gonna be just like when Watch was like, I finished my Spider-Man trilogy, I'm gonna direct Fantastic Four, and then you find out a few days ago he's not doing it. I gotta take a break. No, the few things I want rebooted, they don't even try to make again or start over with. Hell, if they want to do a reboot of Flash after this movie comes out, I'm not gonna have a problem with it because Ezra Miller is acting like he's lost his damn mind. He's gonna get one solo movie, and then they're just gonna be like, all right, start over, new Flash. What happened to the other one? I don't know. That's so sad, man. Like I'm not even a fan of his, and I wanted to see him continue as Flash because I thought there's room for his character to grow. He's mainly been in other stuff where he's had to like share the spotlight with other people. Whether it's the Snyder Cut or that like 2 seconds of him that we got during BVS. So I was very thrilled at the prospect of him having to be in this, but I also was kind of frustrated they were sticking all this other stuff into it. So I said DC's just their movie department is just so weird to me. Like, why can't you guys just make a solo Flash film and then do this multiverse stuff for the second or third one? But whatever. I'm usually not even the kind of person who tries to put off bringing somebody back or doing, but like that's one of the few ones. Like, yeah, this is what we don't even know this Flash. So whatever. We'll let them believe what they want. But yeah, I know Akatsuki Merchant doesn't agree with me. That's why he stopped typing. He loves his reboots. He loves starting over. He loves beginning again. Like the main reason I was even excited for BVS when it was first announced because I just like the idea of Batman versus Superman. Like we've never seen that in a movie before, and I really did like the prospect of live action crossovers between DC characters, which outside of the CW hasn't really been attempted. So they really did drop the ball. And it's always funny that people point that, like, this isn't really mentioned often, but with Marvel, the reason the MCU started without, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men was because those rights were sold to other film studios, so they couldn't use those characters. So they didn't even have all of their own characters to use when they started their, cinematic universe. But with DC, they've had access to everyone, and they found a way to just keep botching it. It was so amazing. Now they said we're getting a Supergirl solo movie. I hope they give her a better costume in that, because that one from the Flash, man, that's one of the worst costumes I've seen in any of these things. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, you guys really decided this was what you want to use? This is what you think is good? Really? That's what you find appealing? Because putting all the superheroes together brings in more audience, and more audience means more cash. Yeah, that's why I was really disappointed that Reeves said that he wasn't gonna like have any crossover, because I'm like, I would like to see whether it's it's the his iteration of Batman or whatever, actually interact with other superheroes. I don't know why they're so against it, but it's like the two biggest things that has always plagued Batman on screen for me, right? Because, like, outside of campiness thing, that's like a whole other debate. Is the refusal to use Robin, because you have directors who hate that character for whatever stupid reason they can conclude to themselves, um, and a refusal to put him in a shared universe. And it seemed like the DCU was going to do that, but then Affleck was like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired." So those plans got destroyed. We got one Justice League movie, and that's it. We got one mega long Justice League movie, and that was the conclusion. We were supposed to get a Justice League trilogy, and we didn't even get that. That's so sad. Remember we were talking about this, how like No Way Home almost made $2 billion. Like, it's not because, oh my god, the Holland version of Spider-Man is so great and he's the best iteration of the character, and when I see him I get, no, it's because they brought back Garfield, Maguire, Molina, all these different people. Like, they that was where the real excitement came from. I'm like, their original plan for the movie apparently was to have him go against Craven, and I think I heard Scorpion too, or at least Craven, right? And I guarantee you, if the movie was just him fighting Craven or Scorpion, whichever one, at most it would have made maybe $1 billion, and maybe not even that much, because we got to factor in the pandemic. Maybe 900 million, 800 million. I'm not even joking when I say that. I fully believe that this, if that movie didn't have all the different returning actors from those previous series, it probably would be one of the highest grossing films last year still, because most of the other MCU stuff people aren't that excited for, like Eternals, Mike cares. But it wouldn't have done anywhere near as well. It probably just made about maybe like 800,000 or 900, not 800,000, 800 million or 900 million, which is still good. Again, compared to everything else, but they made a whole boatload of money off of bringing all those different people back. Just like I said, if Flash does well, it's not going to be because Ezra Miller is the most amazing, charismatic character in this film. And no, it'll be because people wanted to see Michael Keaton. They wanted to see Shannon, General Zod, Feora. Like, there's so much other franchises and different stuff riding on this movie besides the actual lead and his story in it. Oh, the reboot era. All this starting over, all this doing over. I'm tired of it. They always want to create like that's why I was saying I want Man of Steel too, because I don't want them to replace Cavill. I think he looks like Superman. I think he sounds like him. Like I don't understand why they can't just keep this actor and keep the continuity of the first movie. And if they want to keep what happened in BVS there as well, that's fine. And just do a sequel. Like I'm really just so frustrated because it's always something that gets canceled that sounds really exciting. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe it's because we like the way we picture it is better than it would have been. But they were talking about having him fight Brainiac, who we've never seen any of these. It's like, damn, I want that. That's what I hate so much about the reboot era. That there are opportunities to do something, tread some like new water and go in a direction that we've not previously unfolded on or discovered, and they just keep botching it. It's like, hey, you want a sequel to Man of Steel where he has to fight Brainiac and introduce a Supergirl who the director confirmed that exists in his universe? Oh, ha 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 ha! I don't think so. It just sucks. I wish we could see Superman and Supergirl in a movie together because I do really like their dynamic. I said before that I think and I have a controversial opinion. I think that Supergirl in the comics, not talking about the stupid CW show or the garbage 84 movie, but the comic version of Supergirl is more interesting than Superman because um due to her not being like accustomed to living on Earth, she's more inclined to be violent than he is. Just the different stuff that I think would make an on-screen interaction between those two characters like really something unique. And we never get it. Yeah, I do want a Man of Steel 2, maybe continue from the first movie and have Zod come back as Brainiac. It'd be funny if they had if they brought Zod back, but the twist is that he's working with Brainiac like to capture Superman and rebuild Krypton because Brainiac's like, I would like to rebuild the planet for which we once lived, which is why I have decided to resurrect you. And then it turns out, as like after they seemingly have defeated Superman, that like Brainiac just betrays him, and then him and Superman have to team up and stop Brainiac. Wouldn't that be a good way to use Zod again, but then not have it be the exact same thing, and like also at the same time continue to like play into the characterization from Man of Steel, where because remember everything he does in service of rebuilding Krypton, right? So if he thinks Brainiac, who he can prove he's from Krypton, has the same goal as him, I think it makes a lot of sense that they would team up together. And that would have been so cool. But I don't think they were going to bring Shannon back for the second one, and also build on the dynamic between Zod and Cal. That's why I said that like there was so much they could have done, and they just ruined it. No, I would love if they did Zod like they did Gene Hackman in the original four Superman movies, where he just like shows up in each film with like a different twist or something. Because you can get a lot of mileage out of Zod. Like when you have someone whose goal is just to rebuild Krypton, it's not to destroy Earth, it's not to kill Superman. It's to rebuild Krypton, whatever necessary to do that. You could have him be on the side of the protagonist. Sometimes there's like a greater threat villain that's going to like stop him from his long-term plans of rebuilding this planet. Like you can do different things with a character who's not completely evil. And it just sucks that they killed him off after one film, and we're only just now getting him back. And I really hope that in Flash they keep him around and they have some way of like reuniting him with Cavill in another movie. No, I didn't even think to bring him back because I was like, oh, people are gonna get mad. But they retconned his death, and now death is meaningless. Blah, blah, blah. Even though they were gonna do that with anyway with Superman. It's like, yeah, they killed him off in BVS. You really think they were gonna keep him dead? You really believe that? But yeah, I really wanted to see Superman and Supergirl in the movie together, and it doesn't look like we're going to get that with what's happening with Flash, unfortunately. But then again, I'm the same person that wanted a new movie with Robin alongside Batman, and we haven't been able to get that either. Maybe have Zod go through the world-shattering realization that his goal in the original movie only led more of his people suffering, and realize Superman was right. Well, again, I'm just trying to retain him as an antagonist. Um, and I think that maybe that's like a long-term thing they could have done, but just for specifically for a second movie, the idea of him teaming up with Brainiac so that they can bring back Krypton, by taking out Superman together, and then only realizing toward the end that Brainiac is using him and doesn't actually plan on restoring the planet. I think that's in fitting with his characterization of Man of Steel. And if you want to do a third movie, fourth movie with him where he starts to like realize that Superman was right and that they can't rebuild the planet, they got to make their own new planet, then we can discuss that. But for at least for a second movie, I think what I said will be sufficient enough. Again, not saying what you're proposing is bad, just that they could do that later down the road if they kept the character around. Imagine if they brought back Feora, like in that same like hypothetical Man of Steel too. It was weird. It's like he has this whole army and they all just get sent to the Phantom Zone, and like no one in any of these films ever goes and retrieves them. Because remember, out of that whole army, the only one that died was Zod. Everybody else is still just floating around that little zone. I'm still laughing at the fact that the fight between Feora and Superman has like 40 million views on YouTube. That's how you know it's a good fight. People just keep coming back to watch it over and over. That thing went viral several times over. God, that was. I don't know. I just really liked Zod from Man of Steel. That's like I think they could have had him in like a whole bunch of films. He would never get old because he's just a very complex character. Um, and it's like you can at a surface level say, oh, he just wants to rebuild his planet, but there's more to him than that. There was a genuine desire on his part to reach out to Kal-El and not go through some violent confrontation. And he even when about to confront Jor-El, didn't want to kill him either. It was like, please don't have us be on opposing sides. So there is this thing in him where he has some basic level of regret for having to fight people of his own race. So he's just a lot more what's we're saying it layered than a lot of people would give that film credit for. When people talk about that movie and they don't like it, they usually just go, "Oh, Superman is his dad said don't save the kids on the bus," and like they don't ever think about, hey, there's actually a really good villain here that doesn't really get talked about as much as he should. I'm serious. Zod's probably my favorite villain in any DC movie besides Joker from The Dark Knight. Like that's how amazing he is. I'm still laughing when my brother was like, "Oh, I asked him, we saw Man of Steel. I was like, who's your favorite character?" He said, "Oh, Zod." He never says the villain is his favorite character. We did for that movie. I'm trying to remember which script was it where it was like there was some. I think it might have been for Superman 5 for like a Christopher Reeve movie where it was like it was supposed to be Brainiac and Supergirl and some kind of love triangle. It was either for that or for Superman 3 there, but there's some script that has those two together. And I know I heard for Man of Steel 2, they wanted Brainiac and apparently they wanted Supergirl. who again we've never seen in the movie with Superman. So that's why I was like excited. Yeah, he had a clear goal, and his reasoning behind his motives are believable and even agreeable to an extent. Well, yeah, because it's one of those things where even if you don't agree with it, you understand it. That's why I said, if you go and look at the first Friday 13th, for example, with Mrs. Voorhees, it's like I don't think any normal person would agree with killing camp counselors because camp counselors were too busy banging, and that's why your son drowned to death. But and like wanting the camp closed because you don't want more innocent children to die from the negligent counselors, but you still understand why she feels that way and why she's doing what she's doing, even if you don't agree with it. It's like it's a lot more multifaceted, even if it's just for one movie. Like that characterization is so deep compared to her son. It's not even humorous. But yeah, Zod had a clear goal, and he just was very open to doing whatever it took to bring back Krypton. Like you can tell when he's like, "Hey, we have to transform the Earth into the planet, and it's gonna like kill the human." You can tell he's not happy that's gonna happen. Doesn't hate them just because they're a different race than him. But if by any means necessary means by any means necessary, yeah, there's a depth and a sense of human complexity. That's why I was saying that, like, I wish they had kept him around. And I do hope that, like, I'm glad to bring him back for Flash, but I don't, because right now we don't know if Defoe or Molina are going to come back after No Way Home, for example. Nobody's really talking about it, and people are saying, I hope this is the end and this is a good closure and send all this crap, right? But I really think in a continuous universe that's going to have probably 20, 30 movies, they could have had Zod in like 5 of those, and he would have always been doing something different and been interesting. But yeah, he does have a sense of depth and human complexity. Absolutely. He has this characterization that is so much more than just I'm evil, to hell with humans, I'm going to destroy your planet to bring mine. But no, there's not a mustache twirling villain, but a person who feels a sense of obligation. As he said, he was born to do whatever it took to keep Krypton the way it was and sustainable for their people. And you can really feel that in what he does and just the way he acts. And even when he tries to get revenge on Superman by killing humans, he's not doing that because he just hates humans, but he's doing that to make Superman suffer in the same way that he felt when his world and his people were denied to him, with the destruction of the machine and the codex and the rest of that stuff. It's not done out of malice towards humans, but rather to make Superman get his pain, like to give him something comparable to what he feels. You really don't see a comic book movie villain that complex in almost any of these. That's crazy. Like just the more we talk about them, there's all these different layers. And like I said, the worst part about modern, like average audiences, is that they don't go and look up online articles. They don't go and look up, people explaining why something's good. And because that, a lot of this stuff gets lost. Like people just saw Man of Steel. Oh, this person was punching this person. That was so cool. But there's more to that movie than that. You have a complex antagonist who, in a lot of ways, is probably the most developed character in the movie. Yeah, he didn't actually want to kill humans. If you notice in the movie, he only killed humans when they attacked him. Yeah. I mean, think about it. He has Feora go down there and say, "Oh, we want Lois to come with us." She could have just snatched Lois up and blown up the military base, but they still act in a cordial manner toward the humans. No, I thought Man of Steel was really good. Like the like Zod and his like army, but just specifically Zod blows almost every single villain in the MCU except for maybe obviously Thanos and then Loki, and I guess maybe Hela from Ragnarok out of the water. Like every last one of them. there might be like 4 left standing after he shows up, because he's way more complex, way more interesting. I mean, just like there's almost like he's perfect. I feel the same way about Zod, Man of Steel, that I feel about Catwoman and Batman Returns. Just perfect. Just like nothing I would change. Everything goes together, and there's a complex performance, good actor. Like I am starstruck by how in some of these cases they never think to bring the actor back to play character again, because some of them just steal the show and just transcend what they're in. He felt like a cornered animal. Yeah, I think I definitely prefer this version of Zod more than the Terrence Stamp one. Like, I like Stamp's performance in Superman 2, which I do think is an enjoyable movie. And a really good movie. I don't think he's as complex as the one from Man of Steel. I guess maybe back in 2013, people didn't really care about like a good villain in a comic book movie. Because I remember I looked around, I was just kind of like browsing the internet, and I was like, well, let's see here. People say Joker in Dark Knight is good. Okay. Ra's al Ghul's good. Yeah. Bane's good, except till the finale, maybe. But it really seemed like back then there was just like, as long as these two people can punch each other, I'm fine with it. Remember, Marvel's villains have been critiqued like crazy, and that's by people who even admit they like the movies, because it's accepted that the movie's about the hero and not the villain. So the villain's just an obstacle that they have to overcome. Um, Superman and Man of Steel had so much more depth than any other movie iteration of Superman. So listen, I like Cavill as Superman a lot, but I'm sorry, my favorite's always going to be Christopher Reeve. I you know it's like it's him as Superman. That's probably always gonna be my favorite version. But again, I still like Cavill, which is why I want Man of Steel too, because I think that if he was given more solo outings, and he clearly wants to do them, um, he could leave just as much of an impression, if not more. You know, like I said, good story. Um, Looks like Superman, sounds like him. Like I'm fine with completely with him. I just wish that they would give him a sequel. That's the problem. Like, I wish there's a part of me that almost wishes that Man of Steel was just its own solo, like separate universe, because then we wouldn't have been stuck with BVS and then like gotten into all the DCU wouldn't have turned into what it's turned into. And I just think there was so much they could have built off of if we got a new movie, Man of Steel 2, like let's say it came out in like 2015, 16, at least one every 3 years, every couple of years, right? There's a lot of stuff they could have done. I think if we had a whole trilogy, we could have had him go from being this person who doesn't really know how to protect Earth to being, like more what's the way of saying it? More able to deal with the threats that come to his planet. But imagine a trilogy with Cavill as Superman where you have Brainiac in the second movie, right? And then I don't know, Doomsday, Darkseid in the third one. He felt human, and you couldn't see the internal you could see the internal conflict between his identity as a human and as a Kryptonian. Well, yeah, because he genuinely thought he could make peace with Zod, and he found out their differences, and that he was like reluctantly led into that conflict. I may be over here gushing over Zod, but I'm not going to pretend that Superman himself didn't have good interesting stuff to do in the movie. It would be like that's why a lot of people are saying Superman's gonna show up in the Flash. I'm just gonna say I think I don't like to like sit here and spread theories and hype you up for stuff you don't know about, but it would be kind of weird to have the Man of Steel villains without the Man of Steel protagonist at least making an appearance. So I don't know. No, if Flash was 3 hours long, I'd have no problem. They have so many characters in that movie. I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. That's why I liked it when Zod tried to appeal to his Kryptonian identity because it really highlighted that internal conflict. Well, yeah, because so much of his life is being this outsider on Earth, who he may look like humans, but he's not the same as them. But in reference to his powers, which makes it difficult for him to completely um, assimilate with them. To just be able to truly see himself as one of them. But of course, because he's been there his whole life, he has a fondness for them just in general. And he also has a strong sense of morality, which is why he tries to defend them, even if he himself is unprepared to deal with the threat by himself. Man of Steel 2 could have been so good. If we never get that movie, like if we don't get that movie in the next I'd say 3 years, whenever it gets like the because Man of Steel's almost 10 years old, but if we don't get that film ever, and Cavill's version of the character just ends with the Snyder cut, and that's going to be one of the biggest L's Warner Brothers ever took. Like okay, you don't want to give me a solo Batman movie with Affleck because he doesn't want to come back, whatever. You want to give me a Green Lantern movie without delaying it over and whatever, but there's no justifiable reason why we can't get Man of Steel 2. Every person involved with the first one, including the star himself, is open to coming back. No, Warner Brothers is like smoking something really good if they think that they can't make some money off of that. One of the most iconic superheroes ever, and you're going to sit here and have him benched from solo films for 10 years, and we're supposed to not be pissed. So I said it's just stupid. So I didn't want to hurt Superman at first because Superman was his people, but when he realized Superman wasn't going to join them, he had to do what was necessary with or without Superman. Like I said, that scene at the start of the movie where he comes in there and he tells Jor-El, please don't let us be enemies or be on like opposing sides and help me rebuild. You can tell he doesn't want to fight him. Like even in acknowledging what he believes is the greater good of taking out these Kryptonians that are standing in his way, he doesn't want to do it. Especially to someone that he felt that he had a close friendship with. By the way, so Russell Crowe is the actor that plays Jor-El, and I was just realizing that he also played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in The Mummy, that movie was supposed to be the start of what was called the Dark Universe, like these modern remakes of the Universal monster movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I was like, wow, so Russell Crowe has the dubious honor of starring in the first installment of two shared universe franchises that one which tanked after one movie, and one that is like all over the place and can't figure out what it wants to do or what its long-term goal is. You don't think that's kind of ironic? Like he's in the first installment of two different series that were trying to be this ongoing thing, and one of them kind of succeeded, but not really because it's doing a whole bunch of solo films that aren't connected, and the other one just basically said, "Forget it." after it crashed and burned. I just think that's funny. Like he's connected to both of these stillborn franchises. Man, I just want Man of Steel 2 so much. It's so sad that they've done Superman on the big screen. Like It's like ever since Superman 4, they've had this reluctance to just treat him the way he deserves. He's one of the most iconic superheroes ever. And you have films where like I mean, you go back to Superman 4, right? No new movie in the 90s. You get the animated series, but that's not a film. Then you get Superman Returns, which is supposed to be this like spiritual sequel to the first two Reeves, whatever, just some weird contraption made by a child predator and Bryan Singer. And then you get Man of Steel, which I think is pretty good. It's got a direction. It wants, it's got the franchise ambitions, but at the same time, it's a pretty standalone story. And instead of doing a sequel to that, you do this crossover movie where you get rid of him at the end of it, then you bring him back in Justice League, and then here we are 5 years later, and he still doesn't have another movie. So it's like I don't understand what is DC doing? What is Warner Brothers on? God, they act like I'm crazy for just wanting a continuation of what we saw. No, Zod could have been so amazing just as a recurring character in the DCU. Like I'm not even joking. If they kept him around, there's a lot of stuff they could have done. And I did videos and streams like that before. I'm like, hey, they could have done this, they could have done that, just to show that I'm not some paid screenwriter. So if I can come up with these ideas, anyone else that works at Warner Brothers can do so as well. Hey, I'm gonna send them a letter, be like, hey, do you guys need a script for Man of Steel 2? I can write one. It's just really sad that they act like this. Mm. Yeah, it's just really sad that DC is like this. Man, if you told me back in 2013 when Man of Steel came out, oh, I hope you enjoy this. You're never getting an actual, real, legitimate sequel to it. And I'd be like, what? It's like thanks for informing me that I'm literally watching Superman Returns 2.0, where it's supposed to be like a start of a new series and it doesn't go anywhere. Damn, I'm just so tired of these stillborn franchises. Like, again, Man of Steel by itself is still enjoyable on its own. I'm not saying it's just like Returns, but it's just so annoying, man. Like, they can make so much damn money and they don't even try. Like, they'll greenlit all this other stuff. There they go again, wasting one of the most iconic superheroes. Period. One of the most iconic fictional characters. Period, and just doing nothing with them on the big screen. It's just it's sad, man. It's really sad. I could have sworn there was some quote from Cavill where he said that if he had billions of dollars, he would make 6 Superman movies a year. I was like, that's how you know he really wants to do it. And they don't even try. Like, they don't ask him nothing. And I always say to myself, maybe if we just keep waiting, maybe Warner Brothers will get the hint. The only thing that I hope for is that maybe if he shows up in Flash in some cameo role, that'll like lay the groundwork for a second one. Again, I'm just, or at least show that they're like still willing to do stuff with him. But even then, that's like we're gonna wait a year so he can appear for like 1 minute. And some of the leaks for that movie are saying that apparently when Aquaman, it's either Aquaman asks Flash or Flash asks Aquaman. One of the two of them basically confirms Superman doesn't exist anymore. God, why couldn't we have just gotten a regular DCU with just I don't get it, man. I really don't. That was fun. People were like, "Where's Lex Luthor? Where is he?" Like he's in that. Like you really think they're gonna do a whole film series of Superman and not introduce Luthor ever? It's like if they didn't want to introduce him until the second one or the third one or hell even the fourth one, so what? Like I don't understand why every version of the character has to have the same villain as their like overarching antagonist. You know, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Oh, people get on my nerves. Where's Lex? I don't know. And then they finally get him in BVS and they hate him. Being a fan of comic book movies is not easy. You have to deal with series that end way quicker than they should have, scripts that are and films that are muddled by studio interference that screw them up. Like I said, Morbius, I make fun of it and I joke about it because I think it's a really pointless, goofy movie that to even exist. But there was something with regard to Sony messing with the director that caused that film to be the way it is. If you go back and you watch those trailers that they dropped 2 years ago for this movie, it's completely different. They have a scene where Vulture is outside with Morbius, like they're just talking to each other. Um, Again, like the different Spider-Man reference stuff. There's plenty of things that you know in the years in between when this film was supposed to come out and when it got delayed over and over, they were messing with. You also have to worry about fanatical fans who are anti everything. You know, I was on Twitter yesterday. Some old Joe said, "I thought Zod served his purpose. I don't know why they're bringing him back for the Flash." I was like, "Dude, get out of my face." Like I said, the most ironic thing about these comic movie fans is that they'll sit there and they'll watch the same protagonist in 9, 12, 15 movies. But if you want to use a villain twice, God, it gets like, you know what I mean? Like the double standards. Oh, they made a new Spider-Man movie. Who's the villain? Oh, Vulture, cool. Another new Spider-Man movie. Okay, who's the villain? Oh, Mysterio, cool. Another Spider-Man movie. Oh, who's the villain? Oh, 5 people, cool. Another new Spider-Man movie. Oh, who's the villain? Oh, Kingpin. All right, cool. And a fifth movie. Oh, who's the new villain? Green Goblin. Green Goblin for the third time in 5 movies. Or rather, in was it? What would it be at that point? Like 11, counting the other 2 series. Ah! They got on my nerves with that, man. Like, and that's why I was saying that. Like, what gets me is they're completely fine with using the same protagonist, right, over and over and over again. But then if you want to, like, I'm so glad actual comic book fans are not like that. They'll see Joker show up 100 times. They're like, yep, okay. They might say they're getting sick of him because he shows up too much, but you know, they're not going to be against seeing Joker again. They're not going to say, oh, this was the perfect send off to his character, and I don't feel like we should ever see this character in a Batman comic for the rest of time. Like, no, they're completely okay with keeping him around. Have you noticed that Akoski Merchant? You can use the same hero over and over again, but if you use a villain more than once, people start having heart attacks and losing their minds and freaking out and telling you it's over and their story's been concluded. You need to move on. blah, 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 all that trash. Have you noticed that? Because when I was talking about Man of Steel 2, I was like, look, you bring back Zod, but you're still doing something different with him, and you still have another person that Superman has to contend with. He's just kind of the dragon, like for him. They're working together, but it's not just the two of them, dueling out with no twist. So I said they pissed me off. I don't want them to bring Zod back. Who cares what you want? Some of you guys don't want them to bring anybody back. You want a whole reboot. I don't want Daddy back. Shut up. So I said some of these fans, man, they're just so irritating. Like I said, I hope Zod survives the Flash, and we see him in another movie and another movie. Since everybody's so upset about having the villain show up repeatedly, like I'm just gonna frankly come out and say it. He has more depth and characterization than probably every single protagonist in the DCEU, other than maybe Superman, obviously, and then possibly maybe Wonder Woman to an extent, because that's only because we've seen a lot more of her than him. Only character with 2 solo movies so far. I just don't understand why people are so like against seeing a villain more than once in comic book films. It's really weird. Served his purpose. Give me a break. Hell, I could say that after the first Spider-Man movie, the original one, 2002 film, that Spider-Man served his purpose. There were no, everything was wrapped off nicely. There was a good send off to his character. He defeated his arch nemesis and saved the city. But again, it's like they still made 2 sequels to that and tried to make a third one before Raimi was like, "To hell with this! You guys are messing with my story ideas." I just don't understand why, if someone has something new and interesting to do with a character you've seen before, why people are so, and that's why, see, the reason I say they're anti everything is because when you watch a movie and you decide, hey, I don't like how this went, okay, whatever. You gave it a chance, you didn't think it was good. If I send you a script and you don't like the script, right? You say, hey, you didn't use Superman right, you didn't use Zod right, you didn't use, whoever, right? You don't like the way I wrote it, you don't like the story. Okay, fine. But if you are against bringing a character back and you have no idea what their role in the story is, you have no idea, hell, to a large extent, what the story even actually is about. You haven't seen a trailer with them in it. I just feel like you have to be an extremely negative person to just be opposed to stuff that you have almost nothing to base your opinion off of. So I just think I'm just tired of the the negativity. If somebody has an interesting idea, at least hear them out before you say no. But they'll get like the most paper thin descriptions of something and be like, this could not work. It's like, oh, I want to do a Thanos prequel. This could not work. Why? You don't even know what the story is. You don't know what period of his life it covers. You don't know how this ties into the greater MCU. I mean, it's like you don't even know what you're against. You're against a movie that is set in the past, which the MCU has done before with Black Widow, and is about its most memorable, outside of Loki, antagonist and its overarching villain at that. But again, it's like they don't know what the story's about. They haven't read a script. They haven't seen a trailer. They're just opposed to it just because. And that's my problem with people when they start talking about, I don't want this person to come back. I don't want a sequel to this. Like you don't even know what they're gonna do. So I said I'm just so tired of opposition. Like It feels like so many people, all they want to do is just be against something and like try to shoot down any creative idea another person has, and it really pisses me off because I actually have ambitions to write stuff and have written stuff before, so I try to like actually think out a story. Maybe I don't have a full script in front of me, but I have like a basic idea of where I want that story to go, and it's really irritating because we're actually trying to sit here and think in a creative manner and do something different and like put some kind of restrictions on what we're trying, like there's at least some level of thought and concern given to telling what you're at least trying to make to be a good story. I'm not proposing this because I think it would make $1 billion or 600 million. Like, no, I just want a good story. I want a good story that brings back an actor I really like playing a role I thought he absolutely nailed. It's all passion. That's why you won't get Man of Steel 2, because there's no passion involved with this stuff anymore. It's just people hungry corporate executives thinking that, oh, the last one made 600 million, so I guess we're not going to do another one. But yeah, at least if I make a movie, I'm not trying to get paid for it. It'll be nice, but I kind of just accept, hey, we're probably going to get maybe a couple, views, and that'll be it. But the point is still to try and like make something that you actually enjoy and believe is worth being viewed by others. Oh, which is the most tragic part of the DCEU, that Snyder, as much as people like to trash him and talk garbage about, he was a person who had a vision. He had some plan of where he wanted to go, and you have these other directors who don't really know much of what they're trying to do, so all the stuff just clashes. It's just really tragic in a way. People who have ambitions to do more with their story than earn a paycheck, they get shunned and turned down by studios who think they can't make them enough money. But then they'll go and hire some random person and say, "Hey, we'll let you tell this tale of crap." It's just really sad, man. Like I said, that's what irritates me the most. Like, these people don't even know what the story's about, and they're against it. Imagine if I came on here and I said, "Man, I know the Batman 2 is gonna suck. Um, the story's not gonna work. Whoever the villain is won't be good." Like, I would look insane. Imagine they come out and they say the villain for the Batman 2 is gonna be Mr. Freeze. This won't work. This isn't realistic. It'll kill the series. There won't be a third one because this won't sell. Like, it's like, why are you so opposed to something that you haven't even seen? You know almost next to nothing about. You don't know if they're going to adapt the Nora storyline. You don't know if they're going to try something completely different. I mean, it's all I was saying. I was like, these people, you give them the most surface level, like the amount of stuff they know about these ideas that they're opposed to. You could write on the back of a postage stamp, because it's like it's so limited, right, as far as what you've told them, and they find a way to be against it. And it's like, I can't understand that, because I don't go around telling other people that their idea, that again I barely know anything about, because I haven't allowed them to fully articulate what it is or see a video or see a trailer if it's even gone that far. It's like you're just opposed to stuff. Imagine if I came on here and I said, I want to do a documentary about an actor, and then somebody in the comment section, I don't think this will work because you have to pick which movie you're going to focus on the most, and where they're going to put these scenes. Like, you don't even know what the format of this is. I could have pulled interviews that their family members have with other people. I could just do one where it's just me talking about them. It's like, just always opposed to stuff. I just get sick of it. Just against everything. over and over again. Just that's why I said they're anti everything. They have no idea what the story of this movie is. They have no idea what the context of Zod coming back is. They're just against stuff just to be against stuff. And that's why I said I don't have an interest in talking to when I'm actually making a creative effort others, because they're not creative. They just want to screw up and destroy any plans you have because they themselves can never come up with anything. It's like, first of all, no one asked you. Second of all, how can you be opposed to something you know nothing about? Remember, that's what happened with that guy when he was like, "It's a good thing Spider-Man 4 didn't happen. There's no way it could have been as good as the first." He was like, how are you opposed to a movie that doesn't even exist? What the hell kind of like that would like I deleted that because it was so weird. It's like, do you have a crystal ball? Are you able to predict the future? And yes, nobody asked him. I didn't go, hey, what do you think about doing a Thanos prequel or Spider-Man 4 or Iron Man 4? No one asked him. He was just here and writing dumb stuff in my live chat. Yeah, something they know nothing about. When I say Spider-Man 4, the Raimi version, all you know is that it's set after the third one. You don't know who's going to be in it other than obviously Spider-Man himself. You don't know who the villain is. You don't know what the plot is. All you know are, again, very minor things about this film. You've got one returning actor, maybe two if you're counting, Dunstan as Mary Jane, but um, you got two people coming back confirmed, a villain you don't know about, and the director, and that's about. You really have no idea what this movie is about. Same thing with Man of Steel 2. If they do another one of those, Superman's coming back. You don't know if Lois is coming back, although you would assume so. You don't know if the actress that played his mother is coming back. You have no idea. If we do a Thanos prequel, all you know is that it's set before Infinity War. You don't know if it's set the year before the MCU started, 2007. You have no idea. That's why I said that, these people get on my nerves because they're opposed to things they know nothing about. And I fully implore them to take their uncreative, anti-everything, antagonistic behinds and get out of my face. I was happy when that guy left because I was noticing it was like the same person over and over against everything. I don't think this movie could work. How do you know a movie can't work? Did you read the script? Did you see the trailers? No, because none of that has even occurred. Like I can't be the only person sick of that stuff. Just lacking creativity is one thing, but always being against a creative effort of someone else is nauseating. Like you're just so just I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of nihilists. That's the way to put it. You know what, Akatsuki Merchant? I'm gonna take what you wrote, and that's gonna be my go-to. I'll be like, it's like, first of all, no one asked you. Second of all, how can you be opposed to something you know nothing about? Are you watching? There's gonna be a stream where I just like somebody writes, I don't think this could work, right? And I'm gonna say, first of all, no one asked you. I'm gonna add some more. Like it's gonna be like second of all, third of all, fourth of all, fifth of all, sixth of all, seventh of all, eighth of all, and ninth of all. That's gonna be like the new running gag after the stuff with the vampire runs out. That's gonna be my next one. I just keep using. It's like, first of all, no one asked you. I put my motion my hand like, no one asked you. Because nobody. It's true. Nobody asked them. Like, I didn't come to his channel. Hey, what do you think about this? No one cares. You don't think. That's what the answer is. You don't think. You don't consider anything. You're just opposed to stuff. But look, I'm gonna go off of here. So thanks for showing up, Akatsuki Merchant. I really appreciate it. There was another person that showed up earlier, and I'll do another stream, if not on Thursday, definitely on Saturday. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll try to do the Hooker video this week.